Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be doing Meghan Markle's wedding makeup look, but high end versus low end. Before I start the video, I want you guys to have a guess on which side is the affordable side and which side is the high end side. So if you think the affordable side is my right side, then say your right side is your affordable side. And if you think my affordable side is my left side, then say it's the left side, which is this side. So this is my interpretation of Meghan Markle's wedding makeup look. I really loved the look. I didn't plan on doing this video. I just thought I'd recreate it because it just looks so glowy and radiant and natural. It's more of a challenge because I've become so used to adding more and more makeup that I wanted to kind of go back to basics. And even still, I still feel like this could be a bit much because you could see so much more of her freckles through. Like I can see a couple of my freckles through, but hers were a lot more prominent. If you'd like to see how I create this look and which side is which, then please keep watching. First of all, I'm going to colour correct. On the right side, I'm going to use the Estee Lauder Double Wear Custom Coverage Correcting Duo. One side has a lighter coverage and the other side has a fuller coverage, and I do find that they tend to be darker and lighter. So if I just show you the full side, if I show you the light side, so that is what the light side is like. The full side actually feels like it's a bit more on the yellower side, and that seems like it's more on the cooler side. And on the low end side, I'm going to be using the Makeup Revolution Corrector in the shade Peach. So yeah, they're kind of different shades of colour correcting, but we'll see if it works and take it from there. I do feel like this apricot shade colour corrects a bit better than the peachy shade, because the peachy shade is a bit too dark for me, but around my mouth area it's kind of okay, but around my under eye area I definitely need something a bit lighter. Seems to look nice and bright. So before I start putting foundation on, I am going to go in with something to kind of make it look a bit more luminous. On the high end side, I'm going to use the Wonder Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. And on the other side, I was thinking to either use a foundation mixer from Revolution Pro or the Nip and Fab Liquid Gold. So it looks like this. It looks kind of a bit shimmery but like more golden. So I might use the Nip and Fab on the other side then. I should have probably done this step before I put the corrector on, but it's fine. We're just going to go with it, but you can see it's very glowy on this side now. Because this is a highlighter and it looks a lot more shimmery than the Charlotte Tilbury Wonder Glow, I'm going to mix this in with the foundation because if I put it all over my face, I'm going to look just too glowy. Let's get on to the base. Now, I'm going to be using my favourite Armani Luminous Silk on the high-end side because I feel like this one is obviously kind of more on the luminous side, and Meghan's makeup was definitely very glowy and quite sheer as well. Even this could be a bit too much, but I'm going to blend it out as much as possible. I would even go as far as saying like maybe using something like the Rodial Skin Tint might look a bit better, but because I'm going to stick to one high-end product on this side and I don't want to build up too much coverage, I'm going to just use the Armani Luminous Silk. And then on the affordable side, I'm going to use the L'Oreal True Match Foundation because this one is very glowy. You can actually see a bit of the glow in there. Or I was thinking to even use a Nip and Fab foundation. So I'm just going to apply it with a foundation brush, and then I'm going to blend it out until it's sheer so you can still see like my pigmentation, freckles and beauty spots. And on the other side, I'm going to put a bit of the Nip and Fab highlighter and the L'Oreal True Match foundation in 5W. It's looking a bit more on the pinker side, so I'm going to mix it in with a bit of Nip and Fab number 20. So my base is now done, and on this side I feel like I look a lot more glowy because I did mix the Nip and Fab highlighter with the foundation. And on this side I feel like it's more of a subtle glow. So now I'm going to go in with concealer, and on my high-end side I'm going to use the NARS Creamy Concealers in the shades Ginger and Macadamia. And then on the affordable drugstore side I'm going to use the Maybelline Age Rewind Eye Eraser, whatever you want to call it, and this Obsession Concealer in the shade Warm Medium. And to set it, I'm going to use this La Mer the powder. Usually I would use a Laura Mercier powder, but because this is a royal wedding makeup, I thought I'd go really high end and just use this. And because it looked very glowy and not very powdery, I thought I would just use this very lightly and not bake with it. So let's just make sure there's no creases. And on the other side, I'm going to use the Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer. This is my perfect everyday concealer, to be honest, so just thought why not use this and a bit of the new Obsession concealer I have. And for setting powder, I think I'm going to use the Obsession baking powder because it's kind of got a bit of a sort of peachy tone to it as well, whereas this one is a Stay Matte, which I love, but it might be a bit too matte. I'm just going to go over like dabbing here and there. On the affordable side I'm going to go in with the Freedom Brow Pomade, and on the high end side I'm going to go with the ABH, and both of them are in the shade Chocolate. So Meghan's brows are quite thin and arched, and also a bit more darker on the inner part of the brows than I usually would go. I'm going to try this out and see how it goes. For the eyes, it actually has a bit of a taupey brownie shade, which is matte going on. It looks matte to me anyway. And also, I feel like she might have either lash extensions or individuals. So I'm going to use mascara and individuals because it does look quite natural. There's not a lot going on at the bottom except for maybe a bit of brown and mascara a little bit. So I'm going to go for a liquid shadow. For the high-end side, I'm going to be using these Armani eye tints, which are a matte liquid eyeshadow. And the affordable versions of the Armani eye tints are these NYX Lid Lingerie, but unfortunately there isn't really a dark shade, so I'm going to try and either mix a little bit or add a bit of bronzer to the eye as well to bring in some depth. If I need to add a powder eyeshadow to darken it up a bit, I'll do that. I just love the way that these blend. They're just so smooth and they're just easy to wear really. So if you're wanting to just wear a wash of colour on your eyes, then eye tints or like liquid eyeshadows that don't have shimmer are a really good choice. It did kind of extend a little bit out, but not really much, so I'm going to leave it kind of around there. And then for the other side, I'm going to go in with the darkest shade that I have, which is number 23 Checkmate. It's kind of dark, might be able to get away with it. It's not the same kind of cool toned brown, but it can work. And then I'm just going to drag a little bit at the bottom of each end, just to kind of soften it out a bit. I'm just going to go with it, I'm not going to deepen it up any further. For liner, I feel like there was a bit of liner going on because it looked like there was a bit of definition, unless that's her natural eyelid. But I'm going to go in with a bit of black eye pencil. So on the affordable side I'm going to use the Rimmel, and on the high end side I'm going to use Urban Decay eye pencils. I'm going to use an angled brush to just kind of define my inner corner and smoke out a bit of the lash line as well. And then for under the eyes, it looked like there wasn't much going on there, to be honest, but it did look like there was a tiniest bit of brown. So I'm going to use the Rimmel Scandalise on this side, and then on this side I'm going to use the Bourbon eye pencil from Urban Decay, and I'm just going to blend them out so they look like they're barely there. And then on this side, so I'm just going to curl my lashes, put some mascara on, and then wear a couple individuals just to kind of make it look a bit more volumized but still quite natural. I don't know if Meghan wore waterproof makeup, but I would definitely go for waterproof mascara in case you get tearful on your wedding day. So I'm going to be using the Too Faced waterproof Better Than Sex mascara, and then on the affordable side I'm going to use the new L'Oreal Paradise mascara, which is kind of like a dupe for it, and it's also in the waterproof version as well. And then we're a little bit at the bottom. I'm just going to use these individual eyelashes from Ardell, and there's just a couple left that I've had for a while, so I'm going to just use them all. Individual lashes are a bit more harder to put than strip lashes, if I'm honest, unless you have someone else doing them for you, or you have lash extensions, so it is a bit more tricky if you are looking to do this by yourself. For the rest of her face, it was very subtle, so no contouring going on, just a bit of bronzer maybe and blush. When Harry took her veil off, this shot looked stunning. She looked very radiant, and they didn't even look like there was much highlight going on here. She just looked glowy all over. So I'm going to add a teeniest bit of highlight if I feel like I need it, but there isn't much there. For the affordable side, I'm going to go with the Nip and Fab bronzer palette, which is new, and also this kind of new blush from L'Oreal, Life's a Peach. And then for the high-end side, I'm going to use the Rodial Icons palette. So I'm going to go in with this shade, which is not really a cool toned contouring shade, it's more of a bronzer shade. And then I'm going to use that blush as well. I'm kind of patting it on so that the glowy base doesn't shift too much, because I do feel like without too much setting powder things can shift around. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the blush. And then I'm going to use this golden shade on just a little bit of the top of my cheeks, which is already looking glowy anyway, but then also my nose, again also looking glowy, and just a bit here. Well. Then on the other side I'm going to use a Nip and Fab bronzer palette, and I'm going to use this shade here, which is less cool toned, and then this kind of highlighting shade. And then for the lips, it looks like she was wearing this nudie corally pink colour, and for me, obviously I have darker lips, so I'm going to use what works for my lip tone, but obviously you can use whatever you think would suit your lip tone better. I'm going to be using the Rimmel Tiramisu lip liner on the affordable side, and the MAC Spice lip liner on the high-end side. For lips on the high-end side, I'm going to be using my old favourite, which is MAC Crosswires, and I'm going to also use a bit of taupe, I think, if I need to kind of dull it down a bit. And then on the affordable side, I'm going to be using the NYX Soft Matte Lip Creams, and I'm going to be using the main shade San Diego, which is kind of like a corally shade, and either Leon or Abu Dhabi to kind of nude it out a bit more. And to set the face or add a bit more dewiness even, you could go for either one of these two, so Clinique Moisture Surge Face Spray or the Fix Plus. And for the affordable side, I would recommend probably the Hyaluronic Fix for Makeup Revolution, which is fairly new. So this is the final look, and obviously there are a couple key differences. So the shades on the eyes don't exactly match, but you can obviously go for a more warmer brown eye if you wanted to go for this look with the eye tint. The next most obvious difference for me is the lip colour, but again it's a preference thing, so it depends on what kind of coral you want to go for. It's not really a biggie. Now for the base, this is where it differs, and I feel like this is why people spend a little bit more when it comes to base products, because the difference in just the overall finish looks amazing on this side, and maybe it's because of the Wonder Glow, maybe because it's my Armani Luminous Silk, which is my favourite, but also the shade of the Armani Luminous Silk is obviously a lot more olive as well and more in line with my skin tone, whereas on the drugstore end it's okay, it's manageable. 5W is Golden Sand, but it does it more on the pink side, so I mixed it with the Nip and Fab number 20, which is more yellow, and it kind of worked a bit better, as well as the Nip and Fab highlighter. It does look a lot more glowy, but I can sort of see the texture of my skin a bit more, whereas on this side you can still see that it's natural, like a glowy look, but not very textured, if that makes sense. And again, the colour correcting as well, I feel like the colour corrector is a lot more brighter and better suited to my undertones on the high-end side. In terms of the setting powders, the La Mer powder seems to have creased a little less than this side, but then I generally prefer using baking methods to set my under eyes to stop the creasing, so it could be to do with that. For blush and bronzer, I'm not really that fussed about it. They both give equal pigmentation. With brows, it's not that much of a difference. Like, you can get away with wearing a low-end pomade or a high-end pomade. Like, they both do the same thing for me, as long as they're both kind of waterproof and don't smudge as much. That's the main thing. And then again, for mascara, it's a preference thing as well. So I'd love to know what you guys think of this look, what your thoughts are on the products as well as the wedding in general. Like, if you watched it, I was fully into it. Like, I didn't think I'd be that emotionally involved in that wedding, but it was so amazing because there were like celebrities, there were like actors and actresses that we've seen on TV, because obviously Meghan's an actress. It was amazing. Like, it was probably the best royal wedding that they've ever had. I didn't even watch William's one, I don't think. I'm pretty sure I didn't. Sorry, William. So this is actually the first royal wedding that I've watched, and I really enjoyed it. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, then please do give it a thumbs up, and also let me know which side you prefer. If you prefer the high-end side or the low-end side. So yeah, until the next time, take care.